Medina Wisa, Secretary General of the Mano River Union, my dear brother and friend, the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Sierra Leone, the Minister Delegate to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, the Speaker, and members of the 54th Legislature, the President pro tempore, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, fellow cabinet ministers, the SRSG and head of UNOWAS and the Sahel, the special representative representing the chairperson of the African Union, the special representative representing the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco, the resident coordinator of the UN in Liberia, the doyen and members of the diplomatic and consular corps, other officials of government here present, other officials of government of the Mano River Union here present, distinguished delegates, Chief Zanzan Kawa, and the officials and members of the National Traditional Council of Liberia, members of the Fourth Estate, our esteemed members of the steering and technical committees of the Mano River Union Diplomatic, Peace, Security, and Democracy Conference, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are very pleased this morning to, on behalf of His Excellency Dr. George Mano, President of the Republic of Liberia, and the government and people of Liberia, welcome all of you, our distinguished officials, delegates, and guests attending this historic Mano River Union Diplomatic, Peace, Security, and Democracy Conference. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's conference, which begins and ends tomorrow following 2 days of deliberation, is a brainchild of His Excellency Dr. George Mano, President of the Republic of Liberia, who envisioned and conceptualized this idea. And this was done pursuant to His Excellency President Weah's unwavering commitment to working for peace, not only in Liberia and our sub-region, but the world at large. For those of us who followed him prior to becoming the President of the Republic of Liberia, he excellently served as Liberia's peace ambassador. And prior to that, with the UN and the world being a testimony, he played a pivotal role in the disarmament process in Liberia. Not only sitting in office, but going in the streets and wherever it was necessary. And today, he is one of the contributors to our much needed peace that we enjoy in this country. Upon envisioning the need for peace, security, stability, and democracy within the Mano River Basin, His Excellency President Weah directed his Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia, your humble servant, to begin a diplomatic shuttle for the realization and actualization of his vision of this conference. In adherence to his directive, we in September visited Cote d'Ivoire. And during our visit to Cote d'Ivoire, we met with officials of the government of Cote d'Ivoire, headed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cote d'Ivoire. We then passed on the message for this conference, and we are pleased and grateful to the government of Cote d'Ivoire that overwhelmingly the vision of His Excellency President Weah was accepted. Following that, we engaged the government of Sierra Leone, represented by my dear friend and brother here in the room, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sierra Leone, who indicated that it was a brilliant idea and that we needed to move on with it as quickly as possible, to the extent that he wanted it to take place in October of this year. The three ministers of foreign affairs of the Republics of Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia then moved on with discussions and how we could move the process for today's realization. In the discussion, we also, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sierra Leone and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia, in discussions with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco, the vision of His Excellency President Weah was also termed by our friend and brother, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco, as timely, proactive, and so brilliant, to the extent that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco indicated to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sierra Leone and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia that Morocco was supportive of this vision of President Weah, to the extent that Morocco was in readiness to host this conference, which begins today. Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco and pleaded with his understanding for the conference to take place in Liberia, because from the inception of our engagement with Cote d'Ivoire and Sierra Leone, that idea of hosting it in Liberia was on the table and accepted by our two neighboring countries. Today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are very much pleased that this concept, this vision of His Excellency President Leone is now not only his, but it is of the country of the whole. It is of the government of the whole. As you can see in this room, representation from all three branches of the government of the Republic of Liberia, with representation by the highest of the three branches of the government of Liberia, His Excellency the President himself here to do the keynote address, the Speaker of the National Legislature, the Chief Justice, and the Pro Tem. We want to commend them for this noteworthy endeavor. This is an initiative of the sub-region. Let me be quick to point out that in the engagement, when we put forth the vision of His Excellency President, we are to the Secretariat of the Mano River Union, that vision, or this vision, was jumped on by our able and esteemed Secretary General of the Mano River Union, Ambassador Medina Wisse, and her team, who from day one grabbed the initiative, and from that day up to present, we've worked closely together with Ambassador Wisse and our colleagues from Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire for the realization of this dream. We must also at this point say hats off to the ministers of defense and chiefs of defense staff of the republics of Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia for their pivotal role played in making this day today a reality. And so, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we again welcome all of you, our distinguished officials of the governments of Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia, and our delegates and guests to this monumental achievement as it relates to the sustenance of peace, security, stability, and the much needed democracy within our respective countries, but more than that, within the Mano River Basin. We end with our profoundest gratitude to the vision bearer, and not only the vision bearer, but an enabler of actualizing his vision, and also to His Excellency President. We as colleagues, the Excellency President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, without whose pivotal support we wouldn't be here today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we hold the next 2 days of deliberations, which is expected to produce a joint communique, we encourage you to deliberate, knowing that this endeavor today will follow the vision bearer and all of us in years to come, and our generation yet unborn. I thank you.
I want to thank Ambassador Kimaya for his opening address. We'll now invite His Excellency Professor David J. Francis, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sierra Leone, for his statement.
Minister of Sierra Leone, welcome to the podium to make his remark. This opening ceremony, the front of John and Langley County.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Mano, Your Excellency, Madam Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Your Excellencies, colleague foreign ministers, and ministers of defense of the Republic of Liberia, the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, Your Excellency, Madam Secretary General of the Mano River Union, Your Excellency, the UN Special Representative for West Africa and the Sahel, Mr. Speaker, House, Congress, Senate Pro Tem, my Lord the Chief Justice, government ministers, and members of Congress, Senate President, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, representative of the African Union Commission Chairperson, Chief of Defense Staff of the Mano River Union, our revered traditional and religious leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and I bring you greetings from the most beautiful country in the world, Sierra Leone. Let me start off by thanking the Mano River Union Secretariat and the government and people of the Republic of Liberia for the excellent hospitality and courtesies extended to the delegation of Sierra Leone since our arrival. Let me also commend the government of Liberia for the initiative to host the Mano River Union Diplomatic Peace and Security Conference with the specific objective of finding practical solutions to the peace and security challenges faced by the Mano River sovereign. Your Excellencies, let me convey special greetings from His Excellency Brigadier General Retired Dr. Julius Mano, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, to his dear brother and colleague, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Mano, in particular to the government and people of Liberia. But let me also commend the government and the people of Liberia for their resilience in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenge for all of us. And all of us have pulled our resources together to fight this global pandemic. Your Excellencies, let me thank and appreciate the Mano River Union Secretariat for ably organizing this MRU Diplomatic Peace and Security Conference. I'm sure you will all agree with me that this conference would not have come at a better time as we face the political situation in the sub-region, and in particular, our sister Republic of Guinea, and the ever-increasing need to consolidate regional peace, security, and stability. Your Excellencies, let me also express our sincere thanks and appreciation to the Chair of the Authority of the Heads of State of ECOWAS, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa, President of the Republic of Ghana, for the swift action he took to convene an extraordinary meeting of the Heads of States of ECOWAS on the political situation in Guinea. Your Excellencies, this is our sub-region. So what happens in one member state affects all member states. So let me commend His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, for the leadership and vision to conceptualize and support this first ever Mano River Diplomatic Peace, Security and Democratic Consolidation Conference. It takes leadership. But there's always that adage that says, once a peace builder, always a peace builder. But let me also commend the foreign ministers and the defense ministers of the Mano River Union for deciding to come together to deliberate on strategies for engagement and to provide support where required for the particular case of Guinea that will lead to the restoration of constitutional order for peace and security in the sub-region. Your Excellency, make no mistake, and let me make this clear. The Mano River sub-region today faces three critical challenges. First, how do we maintain, secure, and consolidate our hard-won peace and win the peace for our people? That's the challenge. Second challenge, Your Excellency. How do we consolidate our young democracies in the face of the recent ugly incidents of military coups in West Africa? That is the challenge. Third, Your Excellency, how do we achieve inclusive development for our people in the face of the COVID-19 global economic depression and the negative impact on our economies and economic growth and job creation? That's the challenge. So this conference is timely. It's timely for the simple reason: without peace, no development. Without development, no peace. So the current situation in Guinea is a threat to the peace, security, and stability of the sovereign. On the part of Sierra Leone shares a long stretch of land border with Guinea in the north and in the east. So it is in our national security interest to engage with Guinea and engage all critical stakeholders to return Guinea back to normalcy. And let me use this opportunity, Your Excellencies, to mention the efforts of His Excellency Brigadier General Retired Dr. Julius Maada of the Republic of Sierra Leone, following consultations with the Chair of the Authority of Heads of State of ECOWAS to engage the military leadership of the CNRD in Guinea on the 11th of October 2021. The visit to Guinea was in pursuit of the maintenance of peace and security of mutual interest to the Republic of Sierra Leone and the Republic of Guinea. And the key outcome of President Bio's engagement with the CNRD military leadership in Guinea was a joint presidential directive to establish a joint technical security committee between the Republic of Sierra Leone and the Republic of Guinea to focus on safety and security of border communities, cooperation on cross-border transnational organized criminal activities, drugs, arms and human trafficking, smuggling, illicit timber logging, maritime security, cross-border cooperation, border infractions, and development and signing of the communique. Your Excellencies, the Joint Security Committee held its first meeting in Guinea on the 28th of October 2021. So we urge a full commitment to the implementation of the terms of reference of the Joint Committee. Your Excellencies, let me reiterate that Sierra Leone firmly supports the ECOWAS common position and commitment to support the Republic of Guinea to restore constitutional order and return to civilian democratic rule within the time frame directed by ECOWAS. In this regard, Sierra Leone is willing to work with the MRU member states and ECOWAS to support the sister Republic of Guinea to return to democratic civilian rule. Your Excellency, let me conclude with the following key recommendations. First, that this conference comes out with a communique from the MRU expressly stating for a prospective visit to Guinea by the MRU Ministers for Foreign Affairs and Defense to engage the CNRD leadership on sub-regional peace security issues, but as well to support the country for its return to constitutional order and democratic rule. The second key recommendation is that this conference of the MRU ministers to suggest for the consideration of the authority of heads of states and governments, the MRU, to consider to meet under the transitional leadership and chairmanship of Liberia to discuss current peace and security issues in MRU. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am keenly aware as Foreign Minister of the difficulties of convening heads of state summits. So let me make a practical suggestion here. And I want to propose for consideration that MRU heads of state to consider to meet on the margins of the next African Union Summit in Addis Ababa in February 2022 or the next EU-Africa Summit in Paris in February 2022. The third recommendation is for MRU to increase the operational visibility of the Joint Security Cooperation and Border Patrols. In this regard, Sierra Leone offers to chair a committee on joint security cooperation and border patrols for a period of 18 months. The fourth recommendation is for MRU to actively support the ECOWAS agenda we are on peace, and peace will remain. The fourth agenda and recommendation is for MRU to actively support the ECOWAS agenda and transition roadmap on Guinea. And here to be prudent on the part of the MRU Secretariat to engage the ECOWAS mediator in the person of Dr. Ebon Chambers and the ECOWAS Chair of Council of Ministers as part of the collective effort to restore constitutional order in Guinea. And finally, Sierra Leone stands ready to support MRU, ECOWAS, the AU, and UN to facilitate the restoration of democratic and constitutional order in Guinea. Sierra Leone is the only country in Africa and in the world today that has a sitting democratically elected president in the person of Dr. Julius Mano, who, as military head of state in 1996, organized democratic elections under international community supervision, restored constitutional rule in Sierra Leone, and most importantly, mediated the exit of the military from civilian democratic politics. That is no mean feat. Sierra Leone stands ready to make this expertise available to support the work of ECOWAS mediators in Guinea and Mali, as well as the AU and UN mediators in Sudan. Your Excellencies, let us be bold, let us be audacious to use our African solutions to African problems, our own homegrown initiative to address our Mano River peace, security, and democratic consolidation challenges. I thank you.
Just give a point, make recommendations.
I want to thank His Excellency for the speech.
Go back to the seat.
We would like to announce that there are translation equipment from French to English and from English to French. If you need one, please raise your hand and it will be brought to you. Thank you. Can you just raise your hand a little bit higher? Thank you. Channel 1 for French and channel 7 for English. Who's distributing that? Hands are up. The hands are getting tired. Please move quickly. Thank you. Please, let's do it quickly. There are more on this end of the room. Please come on this side. Channel 1 for French and channel 7 for English.
You can see
Okay, as we get that
currency
accomplished, we will
footage.
now
President
invite.
of Liberia, President Joshua.
We need more on this end. We'll invite Son Excellence of City, JJ, Minister Delegate to the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, African Integration and the Diaspora, in charge of African Integration, Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, for his statement. Thank you.
Excellence, Dr. Georges Mano, Président de la République du Liberia, je voudrais très respectueusement vous transmettre les salutations de votre frère, le président Alassane Ouattara, qui vous félicite pour cette importante initiative en faveur de la paix dans notre sous-région. Je voudrais qu'on acclame très fort le président Ouya. Chief Dr. Diogo Howard Taylor, vice-présidente du Liberia. Messieurs les ministres des Affaires étrangères, Messieurs les ministres de la Défense, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du gouvernement de la République du Liberia, Mesdames et Messieurs les parlementaires libériens, Messieurs les représentants de la Commission de l'Union africaine, Messieurs les représentants du Bureau des Nations Unies de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, l'Ouest et du Sahel. Madame la secrétaire générale de l'Union du fleuve Mano, Monsieur le coordonnateur résident des Nations Unies au Liberia, Messieurs les officiers généraux, Messieurs les officiers, honorables invités, distingués participants, Mesdames et Messieurs, je voudrais d'emblée, au nom de la forte délégation ivoirienne, adresser mes vifs remerciements au gouvernement de la République du Liberia et particulièrement à son Excellence Dima Swelsa Temoria, Senior, ministre des Affaires étrangères de la République du Liberia, pour toute l'attention dont nous avons bénéficié depuis notre arrivée dans ce pays frère. Je voudrais également étendre mes sincères remerciements aux organisateurs de cette réunion qui nous permettra de réfléchir sur la paix, la sécurité et la démocratie au sein de l'Union du fleuve Mano afin de garantir un environnement sécuritaire propice au développement de nos États respectifs. Mesdames et messieurs, la question de la sécurité est plus que d'actualité au regard des menaces terroristes qui s'étendent dans notre sous-région. En effet, il se passe plus de mois sans enregistrer des attaques terroristes avec leur corollaire de pertes en vies humaines. En vue de faire face à cette situation d'instabilité, la réponse à ces fléaux a nécessité une action concertée de nos États par le biais de la réunion des chefs d'état-major tenue à Monrovia du 24 au 25 mai 2021, laquelle a débouché sur la prise de différentes dispositions, dont entre autres la coopération transfrontalière entre les États membres, la promotion de l'approche commune dans la lutte contre la criminalité transfrontalière, l'échange d'informations sur les menaces liées à la sécurité aux frontières, le renforcement des capacités dans le domaine de la formation, de l'appui et du soutien logistique des stratégies de lutte contre les groupes armés, terroristes et les groupes de criminels organisés. En tout état de cause, la lutte contre le terrorisme ne peut être gagnée par un seul État, mais plutôt dans une parfaite solidarité. À cet égard, la création, avec le soutien de la France, de l'Académie internationale de lutte contre le terrorisme de Jacqueline en Côte d'Ivoire permettra à n'en point douter de maximiser les capacités de réaction de nos forces de défense et de sécurité dans la stratégie globale de lutte contre le terrorisme. Mesdames et messieurs, en ce qui concerne la situation en Guinée qui nous préoccupe tous, ma délégation s'en remet aux initiatives engagées par la CEDEAO, initiative que je demande à notre organisation de soutenir fortement afin de sortir ce pays frère de cette mauvaise passe pour qu'il reprenne sa place parmi nous. Pour clore mon propos, je voudrais espérer qu'à l'issue de nos travaux, nous experts nous proposerons des recommandations pouvant aider à trouver des solutions adéquates et durables aux menaces terroristes et pour la paix et la sécurité dans nos pays respectifs. Je vous remercie.
Well, thank you, Mr. Minister Delegate, for your statement. We'll now invite to the podium Her Excellency Ambassador Medina Ibise, Secretary General of Mano, for an overview of the program.
Thank you, Alicia. the Secretary General of the Mano Union about to give the overview of the program today. I talked about peace, security, and
President
democracy.
of the Republic of Liberia,
Among
Her
Mano
Excellency Chief Dr. Joel Howard
countries.
Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Speaker and President pro tempore and other members of the National Legislature, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Dean of the Cabinet, other ministers and officials of government, His Excellency the UN SRSG for UNOWAS, His Excellency, Your Excellencies, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of Defense, Chiefs of Defense Staffs of Liberia, Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire, Representative of the African Union, Ambassador Mano, Representative of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Morocco, Ambassador Bayen Idris. Her Excellency, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, President Amos Claudius Sawyer, former President of the Interim Government of National Unity, the Chair of the ECOWAS Ministerial Council on Foreign Affairs of ECOWAS, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ghana, UN resident coordinators and resident representatives of other member states here present and all in Zoom land, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a singular honor for us to be holding this meeting on Liberian soil, growing out of the vision and passion of the Liberian leader and president, Dr. George Mano. Liberia, just barely 2 decades back, was noted for anything and everything else but peace when it was the epicenter of war. President Weah served in many roles, as has been stated, as a goodwill and peace ambassador. Then, and today, he is actualizing with passion an African parable of not leaving your neighbor's house unattended when there is fire. Once again, we thank you, Mr. President, for the courage of your conviction. Your able Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency D. Maxwell Sakimia Sr., was most diligent in his duties to caucus, as he reported, and confer with his colleague ministers, who he met on the sidelines of many major international fora, and convinced them on the need to see your vision and your appreciation for the invaluable place of peace for the people of the sub-region. The near 51 million people of the MRE space share more than common long land borders, and what many political observers and anthropologists would state as an enviable, harmonious relationship along socio-cultural lineage and heritage in and amongst these border communities between Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Cote d'Ivoire. Thus, the political developments of September 5, 2021 in Guinea to date is a major jigsaw puzzle requiring close consultations among co-ministers led by Your Excellencies here in Assembly. The approach like the proverbial elders under the sycamore tree or baobab tree, is this initial process. As you may recall, when the unnatural end to civilian rule was announced and the setting aside of the Constitution was pronounced in Guinea, the MRU in its statement of September 6 was on point to join other members of the international community to call for a return to constitutional democracy. To date, various activities as well as modes of engagement have been initiated. The MRU seeks to attend to a current anomaly in the framework of international cooperation and regional organization, as was laid out by His Excellency, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sierra Leone. MRU, as you know, was founded in 1973, with the first part of the union being between Liberia and Sierra Leone. In 1980, Guinea joined, and subsequently in 2008, Cote d'Ivoire acceded to the Treaty on Ratification, and all 4 sovereign member states are a part of the sub-regional body called the Mano River Union. We go about conducting the business of the organization within the structures approved. We have at the apex the authority of heads of state, and in descending order, the Council of Ministers, the Technical Commission on Administration and Finance, and the Audit Committee. We were on the verge of a summit, first to be held in Liberia in July of this year. It was later postponed due to the resurgence of the coronavirus. The meeting was postponed to November. The president then, Professor Alpha Conde, as chair of the Authority of Heads of State of the MRU, had written to inform all members of the Union of the impending summit, where the transfer of leadership of the organization would take place. These were the activities ongoing, with various levels of meetings taking place when the internal dynamics in Guinea changed. Guinea is the chair of the Authority of Heads of State of the MRU. It chairs the TICAF and the Audit Committee as well as the Ministerial Council. The question then we wish to pose for consideration to this honorable gathering is not whether to engage, but more on how to engage all parties, national, regional, and international, to focus on the solution rather than dwell on the problem. This is where we believe the MRU is in a strategic and necessary position to initiate the mode of solution-based approach. We need for our member states to see the problem not only from an introspective perspective, but in fact today the world has truly evolved as a global village, but a collective sub-regional will to deepen the democratic dividends. The question that begs for our attention is what is the most constructive way for the sub-region to ensure a smooth return to a constitutional framework within the shortest possible time. One which will provide lasting peace and stability for economic development to take place, for the people of Guinea to carry on with their lives in peace with the 3 other members of the NRA. As you may be aware, Guinea has 6 neighbors. There are 3 in the northern part, and for which, from the Sahel, Mali and Senegal dominate its northern parts and cover the northern part of Guinea. And then there's Guinea-Bissau and the other members. Guinea, on its part as a neighbor, covers the entire northern half of Sierra Leone from east to west, or physically from Cambia to Konom. Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire split in almost equal half, the coverage of northwestern Liberia, and Guinea covers half of the Ivorian western border. We are focused on the borders as we at the MRU tend to appreciate how far removed these borders can be from the center of power and governance in our country. We have seen the most visible existential threat in West Africa, in the West African sub-region, such as deadly raids and attacks by known, visible and invisible terrorist gangs coming through the porous borders of various states. This is the background of the strategic peace and security reason why Guinea cannot be left alone with uncertainties, or that it can attempt to solve its problem all by itself. When our forefathers had a vision of first coming together as a first custom union, it was obvious to them that between Liberia and Sierra Leone, the people were the same, and the history of the many advised people could be traced to the kingdom of Old Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. The commonality of tradition, animist or religious, cultural belief systems to modern day normative behaviors continue to amaze just how similar and closely knit the families along these borders are. Thus, when Guinea joined the Union in 1980, it was a natural entrance and welcome to the neighborhood. Cote d'Ivoire joined in 2008, and to date, we are certain of a common market of nearly 51 million people. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the MRU hearing regarding Ministers of Defense and Chiefs of Staff are herein convened in this special session to consider recent developments of the political situation in the Republic of Guinea and to engage the CNRD led by Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. It is our anticipation and expectation that the distinguished ministers would carefully consider the delicate and yet grave concerns that the removal from office of a democratically elected government through extra constitutional means has. In response to which our heads of state and distinguished ministers have all expressed support for the decision of the authority of heads of state and government of ECOWAS in the wake of this situation in Guinea. To date, various levels of commendation continues for the relentless effort of the current ECOWAS chairman and president of Ghana to bring about peaceful and amicable resolution of the matter. We also commend the UN Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel. We, as the immediate neighbors of Guinea, who bear witness and must welcome the pronouncements and commitment of the National Transitional Council of Guinea to restore constitutional order and return to the people in the shortest possible time. During these 2 days of deliberations and consultations, we urge you, distinguished excellencies and ministers, to take keen interest in the various pronouncements and, dare we say, some bold measures the interim government has taken to fight the interim government in Guinea has taken to fight corruption, initiate reform, and strengthen institutions to sustain irreversible transition to democracy and an inclusive society. We may, as has been suggested by His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Sierra Leone, we may want to consider building a mission to ascertain and verify so as to further advise those in charge of the transitional government, as well as the broader international and regional bodies who make up the Committee of Nations. We expect that the ministers here will, during these 2 days of deliberation, direct their attention on the mode of engagement and determine ways and means to ensure that the National Transitional Council lay clear a path to the process of transition and set a timetable for the holding of free, fair, and transparent elections to give the majority of the people of Guinea the social contract between the governed and the governors. As we may be aware, the majority of our member states have successfully conducted elections in recent decades that, by and large, have been determined to be free and fair, and the peoples of the sub-region have made significant democratic gains. Forceful removal of democratically elected governments and manipulation of constitutions can only contribute to democratic setbacks, threaten domestic and regional peace and stability, and hamper the prospect for sustained growth and development. Your Excellency President Dr. George Mano, we are President of the Republic of Liberia. It is our hope that this August gathering of ministers, high-level regional and international stakeholders from the United Nations and the African Union will make use of the 2 days to have a proper regional kaleidoscope which will focus on the core principles of holding the fundamental tenets and values enshrined in the charters to promote good governance, rule of law, respect for human rights, and to fight corruption in all forms. I thank you for your time.
That was the voice of the Secretary General of the Mano research. She gave us to highlighting some of the things.
Madam Secretary General.
Emphasis were
Welcome to this meeting.
Emphasis was
Her Excellency Shirley A. Butcher, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Republic of Ghana, and Chair of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, who will be speaking virtually and will be making special remarks to this august body. Madam Minister, we welcome you.
So, Minister of Ghana.
It will be an audio virtual participation. Audio. Thank you.
It's about
Around the facility.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Dr. George Mano, President of the Republic of Liberia, Your Excellencies, colleague ministers of Foreign Affairs, Defense and National Security, distinguished chiefs of defense staff of Mano River Union member states, Your Excellency, Secretary General of the Mano River Union, distinguished representatives of the African Union Commission, United Nations Special Representatives of the Secretary General for West Africa and head of the UN Office for West Africa and the Sahel, UNOWAS, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and pleasure that I join you today on this auspicious occasion of the Mano River Union Diplomatic Peace, Security and Democracy Conference, albeit virtually. I had every intention to be with you physically. Unfortunately, my travels have made it impossible for me to be able to be in Monrovia on this occasion. Let me from the outset convey sincere thanks and appreciation to His Excellency Dr. George Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, the government and people of Liberia for playing host to this important meeting at such a crucial time in the history of the Mano River Union. Allow me to also convey appreciation to Ambassador Mrs. Medina A. Wase, Esquire, Secretary General of the Mano River Union, for the invitation that was extended to me and to all those gathered here today. The theme and timing of this seminar could not have come at a better time than now, when the region is confronting challenges to democracy, peace and stability. I'm therefore pleased to note that one of the objectives of this meeting is to offer the Mano River Union foreign ministers the opportunity to consult on a wide range of issues confronting the region, in particular the current political situation in the Republic of Guinea, for which appropriate support and greater regional solidarity is required. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the objective of the Mano River Union to strengthen the capacity of member states and integrate their economies through peace-building efforts, which is a prerequisite for development in all spheres, is indeed consistent with the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. The decision by heads of state and government of the Union to revitalize the Union in 2008 could also be described as a very good step in the right direction, as well as the mandating of the Secretariat of the Mano River Union to pursue the revitalization, growth, socioeconomic development, and integration of the sub-region under the 4 pillars of institutional revitalization and restructuring: peace and security, economic development and regional integration, and social development. Today's Diplomatic Peace, Security and Democracy Conference, which is being held with the primary objective to deliberate on the return to constitutional order and democracy in Guinea, is a testimony of the Union's commitment to the achievement of unity, goodwill, solidarity, peaceful coexistence, and sub-regional stability as stipulated in the 15th Protocol of the Mano River Union. It is in this spirit of solidarity and goodwill that Ghana is participating in this all-important conference. I bring you the full support of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana and Chair of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, as well as that of the entire ECOWAS, for this peace and security initiative that is consistent with the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. There is absolutely no doubt that the Mano River Union is a sub-regional body within a wider ECOWAS region, and as such, our efforts must complement each other. ECOWAS has already taken the lead and initiated as well as taken decisions on the situation in Guinea. It is my hope and expectation that the Union's deliberation would to a large extent mirror those decisions by ECOWAS. Your discussion should, to a large extent, mirror those decisions. ECOWAS is not only committed to a quick resolution of the Guinea issue, but willing and ready to harness technical, logistical, and financial assistance from various stakeholders in aid of the transition to democracy. Indeed, the development, growth, and consolidation of democracy is very paramount to the maintenance of peace and stability in our region. I am pleased to note that we are here with ministers of defense and chiefs of defense staff, whose critical role in the defense, development, growth, and consolidation of democracy cannot be overemphasized. It is therefore very necessary that we work collectively towards the swift restoration of social order in Guinea. The good role displayed of Guinea and Mali in the establishment of the then Ghana-Mali-Guinea Union, the Duke of the Organization of African Union, now African, of the OAU, of the African Union, now the African Union, in the Mano River Union, and ECOWAS, makes it an imperative for us to leave no stone unturned to bring about a quick and swift restoration of constitutional order in these two countries. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, whilst wishing all gathered here fruitful deliberations, I am confident that the outcome of this conference will indeed lend support and contribute to restoration of constitutional order, peace and stability in Guinea for the benefit of the Mano River Union and ECOWAS and also the entire continent. Long live Mano River Union, long live ECOWAS. Thank you for your attention.
I'd like to thank Her Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Ghana, for her statement. We'll invite to the podium His Excellency Ambassador Ismail Idris, representing the Minister of Foreign Affairs, African Cooperation, and Moroccan expatriates of the Kingdom of Morocco for special remarks.
Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Mano. Excellency, Mrs. Vice President Dr. Leone. Excellency, Mrs. Secretary General Mano Union. Excellency, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire. Excellency, Minister of Defense of Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Cote d'Ivoire. Excellencies, Excellency, the Special Representative of United Nations Secretary General and Head of ECOWAS, Excellency, the Representative of African Union Commission Chairmanship, Excellencies, members of diplomatic and consulate corps and representative of international organizations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observers. First of all, on behalf of the Minister Nasser Bourita, Minister of Foreign Affairs, African Cooperation, and Moroccan expatriate of the Kingdom of Morocco, who presents to you his apology for not being able to attend the conference due to a heavy agenda. I would like to thank the government of Liberia His Excellency the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Mano, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador G. Maxwell Kamaya for hosting this important conference and for the invitation extended to my country to attend. The interest that Morocco has in the countries of the Mano River Union is not new. I would like to recall the initiative of Morocco when, on the invitation of His Majesty Mohammed VI, the leaders of the Mano River Union, State of Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia met in the Moroccan capital of Rabat in February 2002 to address matters of mutual interest to member states, where the three head of states came with recommendation and decision reiterating their willingness to restore a climate of peace and security in the Mano River Union in accordance with the aspiration and benefit of their peoples. The interest of my country to the region is even more today after almost 20 years for objective and subjective reasons. The four West African border countries, along with their neighboring countries of the sub-region and North Africa, are facing today big security and stability challenges, such as cross-border crime, trafficking, terrorism, etc., that hamper their efforts to provide better development for the well-being of their peoples. And Morocco's economic ties with the rest of the African continents, and especially with this sub-region, keep expanding, transforming it from a once marginal economic player to one of real consequence in investment and trade. Today, Morocco's trade with ECOWAS member states have recorded an encouraging increase of more than 12% on average per year over the past 2 decades. While Moroccan investment in the continent has continued its trend since 2007 to reach 47% of total Moroccan FDI abroad in 2019. Since ascending the throne, King Mohammed VI has been committed to enhancing Morocco's strong relationship in Africa, and especially in the sub-region. Morocco has engaged in regional diplomacy to counter violent extremism, terrorism, to increase trade and investment, and to promote economic and human development projects, and as a means of promoting stability and security throughout the region and all the continent. King Mohammed VI has made over 50 visits to African countries during his reign, resulting in more than 1,000 cooperation agreements on economic, political, security, educational issues. More than half of these visits and of these agreements benefit to the West and Central Africa. Sharing the same concern about extremism and its corollary, the terrorism, Morocco, who plays a very important role in facing it, disseminates cooperation with African countries in the religious domain at the moment where Africa needs the spiritual support to face terrorism based on these values, the values of tolerance. And in 1916, the King inaugurated Mohammed VI Foundation for African Ulema with a mission of strengthening age-old historical and religious ties between Morocco and its African neighbors. The foundation brings together thousands of Muslim scholars recognized for their knowledge of Islamic law and theology from 31st countries in Africa, among them countries of the all the countries of the Mano River Union. Their aims, as King Mohammed VI explained in a speech to the inauguration ceremony, is to make sure Islam's open-minded values of moderation, tolerance, and coexistence help us promote security, stability, and development in Africa. The foundation inaugurated annexes in more than 30 African countries, among them the 4 unions members. In March 2015, Morocco inaugurated the Mohammed VI Institute for the Training of Imams. The school aims to instill the values of Morocco's open, moderate form of Islam in the next generation of Muslim religious leaders, imams, and preachers from across the region and the world, becoming the second largest African investor in the continent and the first one in this part of Africa. Morocco contributes to economic growth and sustainable socio-economic development in neighboring countries by providing technical education, training, but also his expertise in agriculture, finance, investment banking, air transport, renewable energy, and security cooperation. And Guinea. Guinea is one of the countries of the Union benefits from an important interest of my country. It is historically, culturally, economically, and politically one of the kingdom's major partners in the region. Bilateral relations between the two countries, especially political, can be treated as exemplary. They date from the time of independence of the Republic of Guinea in 1958. The late His Majesty Mohammed V and Ahmed Secretary were among the founders of the Casablanca Group in 1961, having contributed to the liberation of African countries from the colonial yoke and to the creation of the OIO in 1963. His Majesty Mohammed VI made 2 visits to Guinea in March 2014 and February 2017. As for Liberia and Sierra Leone, throughout the period of the Ebola epidemic that hit Guinea in 2014 and 2015, Morocco provided support and assistance with drugs and medical equipment, and Morocco had to maintain its air links with the Royal Air Maroc with the 3 countries during the epidemic. The same mark of solidarity was shown by Morocco in June 2020, when a Moroccan donation of several tons chartered by 2 flights and composed of sanitary kits, medicines, and sanitary equipment was given to the Guinean authorities to support the measures taken by the Kenyan government in the context of the fight against COVID-19. And to the present day, almost 90 agreements, conventions, and treaties have been signed between Morocco and Guinea. These agreements fit the key sectors of economic and social development in Guinea. And as highlighted before, Mohammed VI Institute for the Training of Human benefits also to more than 500 Guinean scholarships in Morocco since the 70s. Training for civil servants and militaries. Today, several projects are underway in the country, including a hospital, a mosque, a training center, fish landing points, and many infrastructure projects. Most of them are being finalized and will be inaugurated soon. This is to show the importance that Morocco attaches to the future of this country, to its stability and its development. Since the beginning of this historical relationship, King Mohammed VI, his primary interest of the all Moroccan monarchs, and especially His Majesty Mohammed VI, has been to work for the development of the population of his brother country, Guinea, whatever the authorities at the head of the state. Morocco has always reaffirmed its commitment to respect the sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity of Guinea, and its continued solidarity with the people of Guinea in their aspiration for improved and sustainable democratic governance. Today, Morocco is confident that this conference will enable the Union's ministers and participants of the regional and international organization to come up with needed conclusion and recommendation for which appropriate support and greater sub-regional, continental, and international solidarity must be given. And Morocco will always stand alongside the countries of the Union, of ECOWAS, and the entire continent in a South-South solidarity and cooperation in order to allow our populations, our countries, to live in peace and security and to achieve their sustainable development goals. I would like to extend the congratulations and support of His Majesty Mohammed VI and the government of Morocco to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Mano, for the efforts made to conceptualize this conference, for the wisdom and engagement to promote stability, security, and development in Liberia and all the region, and his contribution to achieving the sustainable development goals in all Africa. Minister of Foreign Affairs of Liberia, active and courageous Mr. T. Maxwell Sa Kimaya, who is well loved in Morocco, gave all his support to the efforts of His Excellency the President and all the presidents of the Union's members in order to come out with solutions of peace, security, and good governance for the people of the sister Republic of Guinea. Our support goes also to the efforts made by the African Union Commission, representative of the United Nations Secretary General present here, His Excellency Latif Mohammed Saleh, for their efforts to achieve these goals. Excellencies, Ministers, esteemed delegates, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to express again my thanks and profound gratitude to the government and people of Liberia for their legendary hospitality and wishes us success in the deliberation. And thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Ambassador, for those special remarks. I invite Ambassador Maman Sambo Sidikou, representing the chairperson of the African Union Commission, for remarks.
Thank you so much. Monsieur le Président, le texte que je porte de la part du président de la Commission de l'Union africaine est en anglais. Mais je voudrais dire ceci, parce que sinon toute une génération de moins jeunes aujourd'hui dans mon pays, le Niger, m'en voudrait de ne pas vous remercier de nous avoir fait rêver sur tous les stades du monde. Et surtout aujourd'hui, je peux le dire, de venir travailler pour la paix et la stabilité dans nos pays. Excellency, Mr. President, Republic of Liberia, George Mane Weah, Excellency Madam Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Excellency Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Defense of Mano Union States, Honorable Speaker, Special Representative Secretary General of the United Nations for West Africa and the Sahel, all of us, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all observed, His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, is grateful to the Government of the Republic of Liberia for the invitation extended to the African Union to participate in this extraordinary session of the Mano Union. He is unavoidably absent and has asked me to deliver this message of solidarity and support as we deliberate on issues of concern to the sub-region, including on the political situation in Guinea. Excellency, my sister Medina, thank you so much for extending this invitation to us, and President or Chairman Musa Faki said I should give a special greeting. Let me now read the message of a Chairman of the African Commission. It is a real pleasure and an honor for me to address this August Assembly, which is being held at a critical moment in the history of your sub-region, where, despite the efforts made by various stakeholders, including governments, political actors, civil society, the private sector, and intergovernmental organizations, notably ECOWAS, the United Nations, and of course your organization, the Mano Union, to promote good governance, security, stability, economic growth and development, we are continuing to face security and political challenges. I'm therefore pleased that you have convened this meeting and brought together the most critical stakeholders, your Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Ministers of Defense, to rub minds with ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United Nations to contribute to ongoing efforts led primarily by ECOWAS in strengthening our collective resolve, commitments, and actions as partners to promote democratic governance and regional stability through existing norms and mechanisms. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as should be on everyone's mind, allow me here to speak primarily on the situation in the Republic of Guinea, given the agenda for this meeting. Like the rest of the international community, the African Union is closely following the latest development in Guinea with a view to actively supporting ECOWAS in that regard. At the 30th meeting of the Peace and Security Council of African Union held on 10 September 2021, following a constitutional change of government, it was decided by the PSC in accordance with the relevant AU normative instruments to suspend Guinea from participation in the activities of the Union until its return to constitutional order. In addition, the Peace and Security Council decided to set up an inclusive monitoring mechanism comprising the African Union, ECOWAS, the United Nations, and Guinea's partners to support the technical, material, and financial efforts by transitional authorities in accordance with the priorities of the Transitional Charter. Meanwhile, it is instructive to note that the transition has shown encouraging signals, namely the publication of the Transition Charter, the opening of Guinea's land borders with Senegal, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, and Sierra Leone, consultation with vital forces of a nation, the appointment of a civilian prime minister, and the formation of a transitional government. It is also encouraging to note that the new transitional authorities have taken certain actions to facilitate national reconciliation, such as the release of political prisoners, meeting with regional actors, among others. These gestures ease the political and social situation in the country. At the same time, these actions indicate the will of the transitional authorities to create an environment conducive to peace, social cohesion, and security favorable to the development of Guinea. It is the earnest expectation of the African Union that these efforts will therefore not just continue, but will be carried out within an all-inclusive framework, one that will strengthen the foundation for a more economically vibrant, politically stable, and prosperous country that will not only benefit every Guinean, but also contribute to overall peace and stability of the Mano River Union and the greater region for that matter. It is on this basis of hope and positive expectations that I would like to seize this opportunity to reiterate and reaffirm the AU's determination and inflicting solidarity to stand shoulder to shoulder with transitional authorities and the people of Guinea as they pursue this path to restore constitutional order, peace, and stability in their country. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, this is what His Excellency Musa Muhammad Faki, the chairperson of African Union Commission, has asked me to say to you today, and he wishes you fruitful deliberation. I thank you for your attention.
His Excellency Mr. Ananif Katir Mohamed Saleh, Special Representative of the United Nations, Secretary General and Head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, will now make a special statement. I'd like to invite you, sir.
Excellency Dr. Mano, Président de la Republic of Liberia, Madam Vice President, Your Excellencies, Honorable Minister, member staff of Mano River Union, Madam Secretary General of Mano River Union, ladies and gentlemen, members of diplomatic corps, Mr. Representative of African Union, Mr. Representative of ECOWAS, dear colleagues, the United Nations resident coordinator in Liberia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to begin my remarks by expressing my gratitude to the head of state and government of the countries of the Mano River, in particular His Excellency George Weah, who does the honor of sharing the important meeting here in Morocco. Excellency Mr. President of the Republic of Liberia, I salute your initiative and your leadership through your participation in today's meeting, which takes place in an increasingly regional context. I take the opportunity to send you greetings from Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, who is following with great attention the situation of the evolution of situation in the Republic of Guinea and throughout the sub-region. Monsieur le Président, distingués invités, Mesdames, Messieurs, les populations de l'espace du bassin du fleuve Mano connaissent mieux que quiconque les souffrances, les privations et les actes dus aux conflits et aux crises politiques. Il est donc de notre responsabilité d'œuvrer sans relâche à prévenir les résurgences de nouveaux conflits et de coordonner nos actions pour trouver les solutions adéquates aux crises actuelles pour éviter qu'elles ne se prolongent. Au Sahel, la situation sécuritaire est de plus en plus dégradée avec de fréquentes attaques contre les forces de sécurité et les populations civiles, notamment dans les zones frontalières du Lubdako-Gourma entre le Mali, le Burkina et le Niger. Les conséquences en sont notamment les déplacements massifs de populations, la fermeture des écoles et l'augmentation de la crise humanitaire. En outre, la menace de jonction entre les activités terroristes dans le Sahel et la criminalité organisée dans les pays côtiers se précise chaque jour davantage et mérite d'être prise plus au sérieux. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames, Messieurs, chers participants, je voudrais rappeler ici que le Bureau des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique de l'Ouest et le Sahel, UNOAS, en étroite collaboration avec le secrétariat de l'Union du fleuve Mano, avait organisé ici même à Monrovia, au mois de mai dernier, une réunion des organes de sécurité de haut niveau des pays de l'Union. L'objectif de la réunion était entre autres de renforcer la coopération transfrontalière entre les pays membres de l'Union du fleuve Mano et d'assurer une approche commune dans la prévention et la lutte contre le terrorisme en particulier, afin de bien situer l'architecture de sécurité régionale dans le cadre des réalités actuelles dans la sous-région. Toutes ces recommandations devraient faire l'objet de discussions internes aux États et adoptées par les États membres dans le cadre d'un plan d'action. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames, Messieurs, chers invités, c'est dans ce contexte qu'est intervenu le changement du 5 septembre en République de Guinée. Depuis cette date, Au nom des Nations Unies, j'ai effectué 2 missions de travail en Guinée. Et j'ai participé à toutes les sessions, je vais dire les sommets de la CEDEAO dédiés à la situation en Guinée. J'ai eu des échanges très approfondis avec le président de la transition, le Premier ministre et les membres du gouvernement de transition, ainsi que les organisations de la société civile et les principaux partis politiques. Tous mes interlocuteurs ont fait preuve d'une grande disponibilité. Avec la Commission de la CEDEAO, de l'Union africaine et les partenaires internationaux de la Guinée, nous suivons de près l'évolution de la situation. Nous encourageons le Comité national du Rassemblement et du Développement CNRD à prendre les dispositions appropriées en collaboration avec toutes les parties prenantes et les partenaires internationaux que nous sommes, afin que les orientations de cette transition permettent de soutenir la Guinée dans cette période importante de son histoire politique. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames, Messieurs, chers participants, notre réunion sur la Guinée, étant membre de l'Union du fleuve Mano, vient à point nommé. Elle est l'expression d'une solidarité agissante des voisins géographiques de la Guinée. Le bassin du fleuve Mano dans son ensemble reste confronté au défi de la consolidation de la paix consécutif aux conflits qui ont fortement impacté le tissu social et dont les conséquences subsistent encore. Les entités étatiques ont plus que jamais besoin de stabilité, d'inclusion par les biais d'institutions nationales démocratiques fondées sur le respect des droits humains et des libertés fondamentales. À cet égard, et cela a été dit, le retour à l'ordre constitutionnel en Guinée doit être une priorité pour tous les acteurs sous-régionaux, régionaux et les partenaires de la Guinée. La coordination et la complémentarité de nos différentes initiatives, en particulier des voisins de la Guinée, seront le gage de notre succès pour aider à une transition inclusive et pacifique en Guinée. Avant de finir, je voudrais réitérer la disponibilité et la détermination du système des Nations Unies à travailler étroitement avec les États membres du fleuve Mano et de son secrétariat afin de créer les synergies nécessaires pour la restauration de l'ordre constitutionnel en République de Guinée, pour les biens des Guinéens eux-mêmes, des populations du fleuve Mano et de notre sous-région toute entière. Je vous remercie de votre aimable attention.